Hey, everyone. It is Jose from the Let's Get Loud podcast. And today, Alicia is not here, but I am in awe and in so excited and a lot of excitement to have Tom Asacker with me today. If you have been listening at all, you know that Mr. Asacker is someone that I am very excited to have on our podcast, but also I've been talking to a lot of you about just his ideas and how he has like changed my life. So here he is, everyone, Mr. Tom Asacker. Boo, 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 boo.
Jose, great to see you. And
It
don't
is
call me
great.
Mr. Asacker though, please. That was my father. I'm
Yeah,
Tom.
you're Tom. Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
Did you know that my father's name is Tom?
I did not know that. Look at that.
Yeah, my father's name is Tom. Okay, so I'm nervous. I'm just gonna say out loud, and obviously I'm always authentic, and people know that I say how I feel. I'm nervous because not because I've never we've had hours of conversations and discussions, and we have a connection that I've never had with anyone before in regards to how you make me think and kind of go the deep Jose, the Jose that I sometimes think people will think I'm crazy if I, let out, but you don't think I'm crazy, Tom.
No, I don't. As a matter of fact, it's the sane people that make me nervous.
Oh, I see that. Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
So I invited Tom here today for, well, I mean, I just felt like it was definitely time for the amount of time I've talked about you and never invited you. But I've invited Tom because he finished writing his book, and I am one of the lucky ones that got a what do you call it? A pre
Advanced review copy, they call it usually,
I love it. I love it. So fancy. You're so fancy.
Fancy,
Yeah.
fancy.
So I was reading it, and but the thing is, this book, this idea, this concept of the unwinding want, so that is the name of the book, everyone. We had already had many conversations about it. And guys, if you've been listening, the whole idea behind that I brought on my podcast, in my stories, even at Your Weight Loss, the whole what if everything we do we want to do, or everything that we allow we want, that we allow to keep happening in our lives, we want that. And it shook up a few feathers. Is that what you guys say? Shook a few feathers. uh,
Ruffled a few feathers, yeah.
ruffled a few. There you go. And I love it, and that's what we do, right? The way we question and make people think, it definitely ruffles some feathers. So I'm gonna we don't have an exact schedule. There are a few things from the book that I want to make sure that we like talk about.
Okay.
But I want you to tell us a bit more about Unwinding Want, the book, but also like the concept behind it. Just anything, Tom Asacker, just go.
Okay. All right. Let's see what we can do here. So around 10 years ago, I wrote a book. It became a worldwide bestseller. It was about belief and how beliefs are formed and what beliefs do, right? So the concept seemed to be hidden from people, but once it was uncovered, I could see how simple and powerful it was. And it's this: what we desire is what we believe, and what we believe drives our behavior. It's a really, really simple concept. It's hard to see because it's right in front of our eyes. Okay, so fine. Everybody's now bought onto that. All of the research, sociology, psychology, they're all seeing it now. They're all writing about it now.
Mm,
That's great. But I became puzzled over the years because I said, okay, now wait a minute. Since I write this book, I'm watching people over the last decade, and they're becoming increasingly disconnected. They're becoming anxious. They're becoming discontent, the lack of energy and engagement. I said, how can this make any sense? If desire is what drives people's beliefs and behavior, then that must mean that what they desire is this life they're living, because desire drives behavior. And it
mm,
didn't make any sense to me. So I'm just puzzling over this for like 10 years. I'm puzzling. What am I missing? What am I missing? And then I think about something a friend said to me once, and a light bulb goes off. And I got this message inside of me that said, take this and write about it and share this. What happened was we had this big summer cookout all kinds of people invited, a certain time, everybody's supposed to be there. And everybody's getting hungry because a friend of mine is hours late. Finally, he pulls up. I run out to the car and I see him and his family. He gets out of the car and I say to him, "Are you okay? Where have you been?" And he said to me, in all seriousness, he said, "I had to mow my lawn." That was the most bizarre thing I've ever heard anyone say. I had to mow my lawn. I didn't even understand the words. Then I started listening and I start hearing these words from all kinds of people. I have to do this. I had to do this. I have to do And I'm saying, what does that mean? What is going on here? Something is going on. And that's when I realized that a lot of people talk about how we're conditioned. Our behavior is conditioned by the past, by society, by parents, all of that. And that we're programmed to think and act in particular ways. But what people never talk about is, why do we maintain that conditioning? If we know we're conditioning, if we're conditioned, why don't we say, shit, I'm conditioned. I'm done with this. I'm not going to be conditioned anymore.
Oh my God, I
Right?
have so much to say. I read that example in your book and I was like, it's such a simple example of just like I had to do that. And you're like, but you didn't, do you really believe that you had to mow the lawn in this particular instance when you had this other engagement or something else that you could have been doing? Where we connect, Tom, is just like I'm so intrigued by like human behavior. And I feel like that's why you and I, when we speak, when we meet him and I, it's like 2 hours later, and I'm like, hey, we gotta go, we gotta do something. Like
Yeah,
just like
exactly.
really talking about human behavior and how that part of like you have to do this, like I should, that's also a part of your book, like I should do that or I have to. And just like you said, like if we all notice that this is all happening, why aren't we, that we're all conditioned to think a certain way or to do certain things or to follow the cultural normality of behaviors, and we all know that it's leading us towards not feeling fulfilled, not, all of those things that
Right.
you said. Why aren't we doing something about it? Like, why aren't we shifting our way to think and the things that we believe? Why aren't we shifting that? Like completely connected to what you said there.
I'll tell you why. You want to know why?
Yes.
We are performing self-hypnosis on ourselves.
I read, yeah, you said that in your book. Yeah.
We're doing this. We're subconsciously telling ourselves things all during the day that are untrue. We're suggesting this to ourselves. And here's the thing that we're suggesting, this premise, which is very strange. What we're saying is, I don't want what I'm doing or
Mm,
allowing in my life.
mm,
That's what we're doing.
mm.
It's bizarre. It's really bizarre. I sat down with someone just for kicks and I said, I'm going to walk you through the day. And every time I say something to you, you tell me whether you want it to do this or not. And the answer was fine. I'll do that. I said, okay, you're waking up. Well, no, not really. I said, okay, you're brushing your teeth. You're flossing your teeth.
Oh, not really.
No, I don't want to floss my teeth. Okay, you're downstairs and you're emptying the dishwasher. No, I don't want to do that. I said, okay, you're driving to work. No, I don't want to drive to work. You're at work and you're in a meeting. No, I don't want to be. We got done with the conversation and I said to this person, do you see you don't want any of your life? 80% of your life, you don't want it.
So this is a passage. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for in the book. I saved it because it
Oh,
spoke to me. The majority of people spend most of their waking lives subconsciously not wanting their actual lives. Like that for me really got to me. And I was like, I need to remember. So I was like, page 29. I I'm like, yes, exactly. Like it's very interesting to me, but at the same time, I understand. Like, were you always in this space, in this way, in this thinking process? Because like for me, I'm just developing this like with the help of like, well, first of all, your book is where I like fell in love with you. Your TED talk, your book, I like fell into the Tom Asacker trap. And then I was like
the trap.
so connected, it's a trap. I felt so connected to what you were saying. And that's when I sent you an email and I'm like, I just like am so in awe of everything that I'm seeing about you. And we had a someone in connection that we knew. So you gave me a minute of your time, and then multiple minutes. But since then, it's just I've really connected to that piece because I felt like I was ready. Like that's where I was to like listen to what you were saying, and I was like, yes, I understand what he's saying. Like belief. I've always said that, right? So have you always been this way? Like, do you, because sometimes when we talk, I'm like, yes, Tom, but most people aren't like that. And then, so I'm wondering, have you always been this kind of person? Like, kind of like, I don't say different, but like you notice people's behaviors. Like, have you ever felt into the cultural traps and you had to get
No,
yourself out or?
no. I'll tell you why. I was lucky. I grew up with this bizarre, diverse family
Okay.
from my mother's side of the family, where they were down south, deep fundamentalist Christians. My father's side of the family, a big immigrant family. And I was surrounded by people telling me things from different viewpoints. All right. Family members, ministers, priests, coaches, teachers. And every one of these viewpoints was conflicting viewpoint. They were all like, this one's saying this. No, it's this way. It's that way. So early on, I realized, okay, hold on. There's no answer here. How can everyone have a different opinion? That means there is no answer if everyone has a different opinion. And I realized life is about what you create for yourself. That's what it's all about. And so early, I watched this and it all looked bizarre. So I just wanted to understand since I was a kid, what is going on? Why are people doing what they're doing?
I mean, your sense of awareness is clearly like right high. And like, if you know anything about me, like awareness and self-awareness and just like being so like present is something that I've worked hard on for myself. So that's why I see it. Like you sit there and you like kind of, I want you to say this, tell the story about the little girl at the barbecue with the food in her.
Oh,
I just
Elsie.
feel like
Yeah.
that really got to me in regards to like, oh, okay, wow. Like, she just like wanted it. You know what I mean? And it's like so simple for them, like as kids and as we grow as adults and how it shifts kind of like how we behave and that we don't, now we do less of what we want, or we think we do less of what we want.
Well, it's the hypnosis again. This is what I want people to understand. I mean, if I can't get it across now, read the book and try to understand this. Because if you can escape the hypnosis, then you become free again to be you and to do what you want and what feels good to you. No, Elsie, I was at this birthday party for some neighborhood children, and all the parents were there, and I was mingling with the parents around this buffet table, and they were bored. It was boring, and so I saw all these little kids, these really small kids, and they're all sitting at these little low to the ground plastic table, and they're dipping strawberries in fondue. So I walked over and I grabbed a little blue plastic chair and a plate, and I pulled up next to this one little girl. And look, none of these kids even looked at me. They were so aware and so into what they were doing. And they were in flow. They didn't even care that I was sitting there. It wasn't like, what's he want? Is he looking at us? Nothing. They stayed present with what they were doing.
Mm.
And at one point, I turned and looked at this little girl next to me, Elsie. And I said, Elsie, why do you have so many strawberries shoved into your mouth? I mean, she looked like a squirrel, a chipmunk, with all their cheeks were puffed out. And she turned at me and looked at me and she smiled. And it was just like a matter of fact thing, which, if you think about it, my question was bizarre. Her answer was very simple. She said, I like them, Tom. End of story. And then she turned back and did her thing. And you see, adults can't do that. You
Mm.
ask an adult that question, they start getting nervous. Oh, what did I do wrong? What should I say? Maybe I shouldn't do this. Children aren't like that. We condition them out of being spontaneous and free and just loving and
Curious.
fear curious and compassionate and fearless. We condition them out of that. We scare them and we make them worry. And that's what most of us are doing. We've taken that conditioning, we hypnotize ourselves, we keep it going. And now, before you know it, we're saying, no, I don't want to do that. I have to. No, you don't have to do anything.
Oh, okay. So there's another, yeah. So in the continuing the conversation of I have to, um, You said, and so people create a self-deceptive belief that I have to relieve that discomfort. Because it's like if you want to explain your behavior, instead of saying I want to make you feel better because you didn't really want to, you say I have to, I had to. But no, if you did it, if you made that choice, you wanted to. But how can people make, and I've always like, that's what I, when we talk, you're always like, oh, Jose, you're always trying to like figure out, I'm like, how can I help these people want, for me, it's weight loss or, a better relationship with their health or all of that, right? Um, and it's like, but they already want that, like they already want what they want. There's a few things that came out of our conversations that really have like shook my existence and that I use daily. Become who you are. And you just did a little bit about that. And it like, I'm sure that people that are listening smiled when they listened to you because it sounds like me when I said like, just become who you are, like be who you are so that there's space for that. And curiosity is a big one for me that you like kind of that you sparked that I now use a lot. I'm like, be curious, like just you don't need to know the answer. That we don't exist forever. That's something that I now live by, that I will not exist forever. That's something else that you like reconnected to my existence and my importance and all of that.
That's hypnosis as well. You know that, right? Telling yourself, I'm going to die when I'm 80 something. How do you know this? I mean, how do people know this? They make it up in order to keep themselves comfortable in their head,
Okay,
right? Well,
so tell us more about like the concept of unwinding want. What do you want out of this book? Why did you end up writing it? Like the business of belief, you guys, that's also a part of where you're really connected with Tom. So if you want to go and grab that book and reach out to that book, yes, go do that. But so what's different with this one? Like what do you feel like are you bringing to the table?
yeah, with the business of belief, it was trying to understand how people make decisions,
Okay.
right? That was basically it. Now I'm trying to get people to look inside and
Mm,
ask themselves, why am I doing what I'm doing? Not from an external point looking at people, but looking in
mm,
saying, why I talk about this nurse, the practitioner, Bronnie Ware, who was dealing with palliative care for people who are at the end of life. And
right.
she's asking these people, what did you regret? Is there anything in life you regret? And it was the same. It was the top five for everyone. But the first one, which drove all the other ones, was I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. And I said, okay, wait, how is this happening? How is it happening? And it's easy. We're doing it to ourselves. It's like we're in a cage, the door's wide open, and we're saying I don't want to be in this cage. I have to. Well, what are you talking about? The door's wide open. Walk out. And what people are trying to prevent is the discomfort of
Mm.
walking out of that cage.
Why is it comfortable in the cage if we're doing shit we don't want it to be doing?
Oh, it's known. It's a known thing. If I keep doing my known stuff, I don't have any
That, yes,
uncertainty, right?
exactly. I know exactly what I'm gonna get out of this, Yeah,
Even if it sucks.
yeah.
That is
That's sad. It's sad.
it's
But
the delusion that we're all hypnotized under. And I'm trying to break that
okay.
by creating, call it, these earworms where a song gets in your head and you can't get the song out of your head. I want to get something deep, deep, deep into people's heads that will never come out, which is, if I'm doing this, I want to do it.
Mhm.
Now, if you want to go interrogate why you want to do it, good. But once you start saying, I want to do something, now your mind is going to have a battle and say, well, wait a minute, you're not happy. What do you mean you want to do it?
Mm,
Now you've got to resolve the conflict. But if you keep saying, I have to do it, Jose,
mhm.
there's no conflict because you're telling yourself a lie. I have to do it. So I'm all set.
Yeah,
No
yeah,
conflict.
yeah. No, I see. Yeah.
Do you
So
see the trick?
do they need to create awareness around the fact that they're living like the other passage I got where like everyone's living a life that they don't really want, but are they aware of it? Like you know what I mean? Like is awareness the first thing?
No, no, only all they have to be aware of, and which will break the cycle
Okay.
because it will create cognitive dissonance. It'll prevent this comfortable mental feeling of saying I have to.
Mm,
All they have to do is say, I want to.
want to.
I'm
Yeah.
on my way to work. I want to go to work.
Mm.
Stop saying you don't want to. It's a lie. You're doing it. If you're doing it, you want to. Why do you want to? I don't know. This is where the unwinding comes into play. Once you start unwinding this, then you come to this. Maybe you will come to a point where you will feel grateful. Maybe you'll say, yeah, you know why I want to go to work? I don't want the stress of looking for another job. You know what I mean?
I mean, for me personally, it like changed everything. So I really, when we spoke and you brought that up and this concept and whatever, and I really like, whoa, like I started practicing it. I started recognizing like, because even you kind of like, we had the conversation, you're like, okay, tell me right now all the things you don't want to be doing. Cause I'm like, Tom, not everything I do, I want to do. And you're like, yes, Jose. And I'm like, stop. But honestly, the more I live this way and that I approach all of my behaviors and I want to do this, first of all, there's way less complaining. There's like almost no complaining,
Right.
because everything I want to do, everything I do, I want to do. And if I'm allowing it, it's because I want to do it. And it's not like ownership. It's just more like, I understand why. So what happens when someone is sitting there and they're listening to this and they're like, they call bullshit. They're like, man, no, there's no way this is what I want. There's no way I want to live in an obese body that doesn't allow me to live the life that I want. What what do we say to that? Like what is that? How do we, I mean, it's not how do we, but like,
Well,
how does
I know what
someone,
you're
do you get
asking.
what I mean? Do you see where I'm
Yeah.
going with this?
Listen, what we're trying to end is we're trying to end the mental conflict.
Okay.
Okay. It's the mental conflict that's creating all of the problems. All of the problems with, you say, okay, I'm feeling this about my body. I'm feeling this about my work. I'm feeling this about my relationship. It's because of mental conflict. If we can get rid of the mental conflict, which is what I'm doing is what I want to do, all of a sudden the mental conflict ends and you say to yourself now, okay, I don't want to do that. Some friend calls that you don't like really being around, right? And now you have mental conflict. Oh, they want to meet. Do I go? Shouldn't I go? Should I go? All you've got to do is end the mental conflict and say, no, I don't want to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start doing what you feel from your body.
Yeah.
What does your body tell you that
Mm.
you feel? Do that.
Yeah.
And if you do that, now the mental conflict goes away. Put this damn strawberries in your face
Yeah.
because you feel like it,
Because you want to. Yeah.
because you want to. Yeah, but see, everything everyone's doing, they do want to do, but they're doing it to prevent something else from
Okay.
possibly happening. Do you see what I mean?
I see. Yeah.
Like
And a
they have
lot
a
of people,
goal or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, and that's also another part that you've like really changed. Like, no, not always chasing goals, that I'm not trying to fix my life. That's also something that you brought up in the book. Like, not, always thinking there's something to fix. You gave the example of the fisherman and the, just having enough fish for it to feed his family versus the person that's like trying to save all this money and go, go, go and be goal driven, and just like the difference. And at the end, they end up in the same, situation, and they just spend different lives. Anyways, I just love all of it. Really, it's good.
It's feelings. Look, here's the thing. This is what people are getting confused about life. At the end, I'm going to try to prevent, all these regrets because I've seen it. I'm out that way, that direction. Okay. And I'm looking back and I'm saying, wow, all of these things that I've done, which were a lot of different things. Okay. I've worked executive at big companies. I own my own companies. I've done all of this stuff.
Yeah.
I looked and I said, that was kind of all irrelevant. That was just something I was doing to create relationship with
Mm,
other people, with myself, with the world. It was different mediums to create relationship. All I wanted was my feelings of being true to myself and who I was to come out during all those relationships. I
mm,
get to the end of my life and now somebody says, do you have regrets? No,
mm,
no. But what we do instead is we chase feelings. We say, I know when I get this amount of money, then I can have the feelings I want. When I lose this amount of weight, then I can have the feelings I want. When I buy this clothing, then I can have no. That's not how you're missing the point. Feelings are not something to chase. Feelings are something to allow to flow out of you in every moment that you're living, and then you'll have a great life.
Mm. And I know for sure, our followers and our listeners are like, this connects so much to how we want to help people kind of like find their true meaning, and like that it's not, that we just want to help people that are ready to that want what, they want the weight loss. They are ready to say everything I do, I want to do, and how that feels good. And like, honestly, the freedom that I feel, that I wake up, I truly feel like every waking minute I do what I want. And I know that that's always been the case.
You don't
Um,
have to feel like it. You are what you do every minute is what you want.
yeah.
Do you
No matter
understand?
what,
Now the question is,
no matter if you like see it or not, that's what's happening.
right, no matter if your life is shitty or not,
Yeah.
everything you're doing is what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Now the question is, these wants, are they unexamined wants that other people have conditioned into you that you don't really even understand? Or are they the wants that come from your true self that you're allowing to come out? Do you see? Everything we want is what gives us our life. Now,
Yeah.
which wants are these? The wants from society, which says, don't shove those strawberries in your face? Or
Mm.
the wants from inside of you that says, I like them, Tom? That's the difference.
Yeah.
But it's hypnotic. It's hard to see.
It really is hard to see, but you also need to like keep it needs to be this daily, either like a conversation alone, like self conversation that you're having with yourself, in order to actually, for it to be natural, for it to be authentic, you know what I mean? That you're really working towards that. It's an independent individual journey. Like,
Oh, yeah. It's
it
not
really,
even a journey. You're not going anywhere. This is the thing. Everybody, no one's going anywhere. We came from place. We're going back to the same place.
okay.
What it is an awareness.
Mm-hmm,
It's an awareness. When you get a feeling,
mm-hmm,
right? And when you feel uncomfortable, whatever it is, shaking someone's hand, somebody says something to you, whatever it happens to be. Look, here's the thing, right? It's really interesting to me, especially women, which I find interesting. I have two grown daughters, so I understand this, right? Why do you think you have to be productive, worried, anxious, afraid, sheepish, guilt ridden? What is all that? Why do you believe that? Where are these feelings coming from? They're coming from society telling you this. It's a lie. This is the delusional thinking. You can be relaxed. You can do what you want. You can play. You can laugh. You can have fun. You can relax without feeling guilty. You can be who you want to be without feeling anxious. But you can only do that if, when one of these feelings arises in you, you say to yourself, where's this coming from?
mm,
Why do I want this? Why do I want to feel this way?
mm,
Right? For example, if somebody says, I'm not attractive, and they feel this, ask yourself, why? Why do I want to feel this? Is this preventing me from putting myself out in the world and maybe getting rejected? Is that why I want to feel this, to keep me safe
mm,
and keep me comfortable? There's something behind these feelings because they're all lies. Everyone's beautiful as they are.
mm-hmm.
So when you make up a story, you're doing it for a reason. There's some value in it that you don't see.
Yeah, I definitely love the word conditioned, like not as like brainwashed, but conditioned. And like that for me in my space, Tom, like what I am trying to do, it's mostly with women, especially moms, and them being conditioned to feel guilty for taking time alone. And I'm like, who made this a thing? Like why are we all and normalizing that? And then not just normalizing that, but also valuing it, as in, if you feel guilty and then you're a better mom. Like there's even like a reward for feeling like shit. And that's the piece where I always say, like, in order for, especially guilt, it's, you have to no longer think that what you're doing is bad. Like, in order for you not to leave for like a 3-nighter without the kids, you have to condition, like you say, your brain
Yeah.
that doesn't believe what society believes, that that's bad. I don't think I'm doing anything bad. Like, why the only reason I would ever feel guilty is because you're trying to make me feel guilty, and now I see it as bad that I should feel guilty. It's quite like I see it.
No, it's
I see it
bizarre.
so
It's
much.
yeah, no, it's bizarre. And see, you used two words. You said normalize, and I forget what the other word
Values,
was.
like
Yeah,
that,
value.
like
So normalize and valued is the conditioning.
yes,
If it's not normalized and it's not valued, then
it's
it's
not gonna
not
make it. It's not gonna make the cut.
it's not going to make it as part of conditioning, right?
I
So
see.
what all this bizarre stuff that the world does, that human beings do, it's normalized. It's not. Think about it. War is normalized.
Yeah,
How bizarre is that?
yeah.
How bizarre is it that as a human race, we want war?
Mm.
Now, people will say, no, we don't. And I say, well, of course we do.
If we,
Of
yeah, if
course
we
we do.
didn't, then
That's what
yeah,
we're doing,
yeah.
right? So don't look at what's normal and say, oh, I've got to make sure I do what's normal.
Mm.
No, look at what people consider normal and realize how bizarre that is and
Mhm.
what it's creating, what kind of world it's creating, what kind of people it's
Exactly.
creating, right?
Yes, and I always say that, I'm like, we clearly need to shift something in our belief system and the way we normalize things and our conditioning. Because I'm like, where has this led us as a society? We're dealing with more anxiety, depression, obesity than ever before. So in my mind, I'm like, clearly we're all trying to fit the conditioned way we should be or have to be. And I think that there's way less potential that could possibly come out if we were just all, I'm like, if we were just all ourselves
That's it
being
right there.
like,
That's it. It's
that's
not
it.
a belief. You don't want to be believing anything.
No, you
What you
just need
want
to
to do,
be.
go into your natural intelligence and say, what do I feel?
Yes. I truly feel
That's
like it
it.
would be enough. Yeah.
It is enough. The answers are there. Look at the environment. Look at trees. Look at animals. Look at nature.
Yeah.
Right? There's no one telling anyone in the natural world, hey, you know what? This is what you should believe. Whales aren't out there going, you know what I believe? No, they're just being whales, right?
Listen, you've allowed me to just be so much, like just with our conversations. I'm so lucky to call you a friend. And like it's really changed me. My friends see it, my husband sees, I see it, which is all that really matters. I'm a different human. Like I am way more patient and way
You
more.
feel it. You feel
Oh,
different.
I feel it like
That-
100%. I
That's
like
it.
am more curious. I'm more like just tuning into the energy, like blah, 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 but it's fucking working. Like I really feel like I do what I want. And even this week, there was a day where it's like kind of crazy. I'm like, it's all gonna work out. Like the way the kind of day went, and like there was like this mishap and then this thing. And I'm like, listen, if it's to happen, if my lunch, I had like a lunch meeting. I'm like, if that's I really want it to go. It was with a friend, and I was like, you know, listen, it could all work out. And if it's supposed to work out the way
It's
it's
it.
supposed,
Yeah,
you know,
even that word work out, right?
yeah,
Take a look at life. You're born, you die. There's nothing works out. It's us in our heads making up
yeah,
little stories about
yeah, yeah,
what should happen, what
yeah,
better happen, this
yeah,
better. No, it's not going to be like that. Can you
yeah,
dance with it? Can you
yeah,
allow it to
yeah.
flow?
Yeah.
Can you,
So I was
can
like,
you
I'm gonna text you last minute if lunch works out, whatever. Anyway, and it did. And she's like, you know, you didn't have to like force this in. I'm like, absolutely not. I wanted this to happen. Like
exactly?
it's all good. Okay, so we have a few minutes left. There are two things that I want. So unwinding. What does unwinding the want? Why did you call your book that? Like, what does that mean to you?
Well, because people that are living in this hypnotic, unexamined way of thinking and behaving, which comes from some kind of wants that they're not really aware of, those people are all wound up. These people are
Mhm.
not relaxed. They're
Mm,
not. And it's the fact that they're not relaxed that's creating all their problems,
okay.
right? That it's coming from that. So if you unwind all of that, you get to this place where you're free. You're out of all of this mess that has wound you up.
Yeah.
And now you're just flowing in life. You're not making decisions anymore. I tell people that all the time, right? When they don't understand that, like, of course you're making decisions. No, you're not. You know, when you're choosing, this is what I want. And there's no conflict. Should I want this? Should I want that? It goes away. It's, I want this because it's good for me, because it feels like the right thing. This is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. So
Mhm.
that's what unwinding does, is it
Mhm.
allows you to just loosen up and be free again, like you were when you were Elsie's age, you know?
No, I feel that so much. Like I feel it in my heart. Like you said, it's a feeling. You know when you kind of like unwinded the wands, I guess. And you're not as like go and stress and trying to create always goals, like do more, have more, be more. Like that message that is out there that we've conditioned to believe that that is the pursuit of happiness. That is where we've made it. Tom was so good to me and just being like, so like what's your goal? Like how many members do you want? We were talking business. And I was like, and he's like, and if you get there, like what's next? Like it's always you're all, and I'm like, I don't know. I couldn't even answer. You know what I mean? And then I realized that I don't know, letting go of my goals was not letting go of having goals does not mean that I'm just going to sit there and do nothing. Like there are things that I
Exactly.
want to do and I focused on that. And like my year has been so great and full.
No, that is it. Listen, I have people say to me, "Well, if I don't worry, then I won't do
Yes.
things." Like, what the
Yes.
hell are you talking about? Why do you need to worry to do things? I don't even understand what that means.
Guys, I say this to you all the time about weight loss. Like, I was so afraid to regain weight if I wasn't insane and like so like goal driven. And then I trusted that like I'm not like, what? Why do I need to always like be chasing? Why don't I trust that I'm gonna daily show up and have standards and like live, follow the energy and it's gonna lead me.
No, here the here like I'll shorten that for you. Why don't I trust myself?
Mhm.
Because the world has taught us not to
Not to
trust
trust
ourselves.
ourselves. Guys, I say
Right.
this all the time. Do you see why I love this man? Do you see why he connects to what I say all the time? I can't wait for Alicia to listen to this. Because obviously I talk about you a lot. And so now she gets to be like, okay, I see why you connect to him because he's literally you. Okay, so let's end with people want more for sure. Like at this point, people are like, oh, I like this conversation. They're just getting excited. When is this book coming out? When can the people find it and where and all of that good stuff? What do you think?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm hoping a beach read. I don't know. I'm hoping end of June, early July. It
Okay.
it it is out in print.
Okay.
I'm trying to make sure it gets out in print, in Kindle, and maybe an audiobook at the same time,
Okay.
so people can listen to it. It's not long, but
Nope.
it's kind of deep. You have to think as you're going through this, what is it? You have to question what your mind is doing to you as you're reading the words.
Yeah.
That's
And I
what you
think
have to do.
and you know what? I think it's important that it's not too long, just like this podcast. We could go on, you and I. We all know that. We could go on, give examples, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just find that like we've done enough to get people like woof like that, like whew, I need to take a breath hit there because it really comes and gets to you and you're like, okay, is this something that I know you said it's not a journey, but it's like a daily practice. It's like something that you're like, okay, I really want to tune into, this conversation within myself. So I think that, so first of all, this is going to come out mid-June. So guys, like I'll let you guys know, trust me, all of my social media will have Tom's info and links to his book, The Unwinding Want. We appreciate you so much for being here, Tom. Please stick around after. We need to take a picture that we did a podcast together. Your face
Okay.
is like a mystery to most of the people. They don't know what you look like. Okay, thank you. And you know what? We could definitely have you again as well later on this year to just like chat about all the things. And
Okay.
as always, I appreciate you.
Thank you, Jose. Appreciate
Okay.
you too.
All right. Okay,
All
bye.
right.